Alright, hello everyone. I'm back, sorta. I've been busy with life things. I mainly wanted to make this video for newer players, people in general, don't like their class that they're currently playing, and they're possibly thinking about rolling to Nova or picking Nova. I wanted to make a short but simple and easy to digest video for you guys to see whether or not Nova is the class for you. This isn't going to be a super complicated or super in-depth video. If you guys are looking for more in-depth guides on Nova, I do have two different videos for you guys for Awake Nova and Suck Nova. So if you guys want a more in-depth tutorial or guide on how each of those subclasses is, go ahead and click either one of those videos. Also, just a real quick editor's note, I wanted to throw in a like a real quick 1-minute description of both her subclasses. So for Suck Nova PvE, basically a very easy to grind class, very easy to learn, very beginner friendly, fully essayed, has lots of resistances, has lots of healing from skills, and also is extremely tanky. Awake Nova, you're very fast. Unfortunately, you're very squishy, but you do a lot of damage, and you can clear larger fielded zones much faster than Suck Nova could. For PvP, Suck Nova is very good at tanking a lot of damage, being kind of the center focus of other people. She's able to stun lots of people at once, constantly debuffs people that she hits, and removes DP and AP bonuses. The cons to her in PvP is that she's slow, so she's hard to engage in fights and disengage with fights. If she gets focused, you're kind of cooked. And now for Awake Nova. Okay, so for Awake Nova's PvP, she's very good at getting in and out of fights. She's super fast, so it's really hard for other rat classes to keep up with you and or really even chase you. She does an insane amount of damage in the span of less than a second. Cons to her is that she's super squishy. You die in like 3 hits, so she can get caught really easily if you don't know your SA rotations. The class is a very high level skill ceiling, so if you're not willing to put in the dedication and time to learning the class, it's better just not to play it. So let's get into the PvE first, since I know that'll probably be what most people are looking for. Suck Nova, I cannot recommend this class enough for very new or beginning players. This is also a fantastic class for just in general people who like simple grinding without thinking too much about it. Suck Nova is primarily a great mid-game to late-game grinder. Her early game struggles a lot, mainly because from level 1 through 56, you don't have Succession yet. And until you unlock Succession, a lot of her primary abilities, all the absolutes, are very slow cast. On top of it, most of the early game grind spots are always very large and spread out, and everything dies in basically 1 hit. Suck Nova also has practically 0 gaps in her kit. She is a full SA rotative class that basically never drops. You just rotate 7 skills in her skill tab. You go all the way down to her passive, Cold Dark Star. So the best thing about Cold Dark Star, whenever you take a look at it, is any of these abilities that hit anything will apply the status effect. When the status effect is applied, you negate 16 AP from whatever you hit for 10 seconds. This also includes removing all DP's increase effects. Suck Nova is also one of the highest DR classes in the game. She gets a plus 50 DR for literally just Q blocking. That is an insane amount. All other Q block classes maybe get 30 or 20. If you also add on your skill add-on, I always have it on Queen's Gambit for my DP bonus. This used to be 25 seconds. But if you hit something with Queen's Gambit, it will stack. And now you'll have a plus 70 DP. Now, if you were to, let's say, Q block, Queen's Gambit, and E buff, you now have plus 50 DP, plus 50 DP, and plus 20. So you literally get an additional 120 DP. Not to mention, if you do E buff, it gives you another, I think it's 150 or 1500 HP. Yeah, so it also heals you on the spot. It is very hard to die on this class, but it can still happen. A lot of Suck Nova's abilities also have health recovery. Queen's Gambit is one of the main ones to do this. The only unfortunate part about Queen's Gambit is that it is her Magnus skill, and in order to get her Magnus skill, you need to do the Magnus storyline. If you haven't done the Magnus storyline, I highly recommend you do it. It is a 5 to 6 hour quest line. Unfortunately, it is very long and tedious, but the benefits of doing it are you get a free pen boss gear armor of your choice of helmet, armor, gloves, or boots. And once you do it, you unlock fast travel from any major region or city. This class is so simple to play that even if you're realistically, I know there's not many PC players who play on controller, but if you do play on controller on PC, Suck Nova is probably one of the easiest classes to grind on and play with controller, or even mouse and keyboard. In my personal opinion, I feel like Suck Nova is probably one of the best Dekia, like casual Dekia grind classes. Mainly because she doesn't have to run around anywhere, and all of her attacks are a ranged AoE. You basically don't have to move, and everything comes to you. That sounded really sus. Jesus Christ. Also, one of the beautiful things about Suck Nova is whenever you sprint towards incoming damage, it will completely negate it. I used to do this a lot for Pig King, so whenever he does the circle attack, right, and he screams, and it afterwards there's these like 4 fire lines. If I sprint directly at the line coming at me, it'll do no damage to me. It won't even take any damage to my forward guard. It just completely negates it. Here are some cons to Suck Nova in PvE. Her overall early game is terrible compared to Awake Nova. She is a much slower class, so she's really good at very close gathered grind zones, like for example Konglim, Pig Cave is alright, they're not too spread out. Dekia, Olins, Ash Forest, even normal Ash Forest. Just spots that are not very far apart, like Tungrad Ruin. She's fantastic at Highlands. One of the biggest issues though with Suck Nova is her damage is significantly less compared to most other classes. A witch at DSR with 1 to 2 tidal waves will pull around 42 to 46k trash an hour, maybe 50. Suck Nova, for me at least, a hour with 1 to 2 tidal wave spawns, I'll maybe make around 35 to 37k trash. So you make significantly less, but the class is significantly safer. This class was really good for me during when they first released Elvia or Zekia. I was able to grind a 790 gear score grind zone at 750 gear score, and I never died once. The only time I did actually die was at nighttime. I didn't expect them to hit me that hard, but they like 3-shot me. I was like, okay. Very tanky, very sustainable, very safe class. Was able to grind at Elvia or Zekia before they even buffed her damage. At 750 gear score, was able to pull like roughly like 12k trash. Now, that's pretty bad considering all things. And then after the damage buffs happened, then I started pulling around 16 to 17k. I think it was more 16k at like 750, 760 gear score, which is like really low for Elvia or Zekia. Now I'm at 780 gear score. I pull around 18 to 19k trash at Elvia or Zekia. But that's still significantly less than like Witch, Dosa, who pull like typically like 24. But anyway, moving on. Now it's time for Awake Nova. Awake Nova's PvE, I'm kind of a little iffy on it compared to Suck Nova. So, again, this class is extremely fast. I'm sure a lot of people will say it's not fast anymore. My brother in Christ, it's still a fast class. Like, let's be honest. If I can still keep up with the Musas or pass them, we're still fast. She highly benefits from attack cast speed percentage buffs. Please utilize the hell out of them. Put every crystal, get every skill add-on buff, whatever you can to increase that as much as possible. Now, remember, I said percentage and not plus, like, 1, plus 2, like attack speed plus 2. The attack speed plus 2 thing, whenever you press the P menu and you go here, that's all this increases, and this only goes to 5. So when that's at 5, you don't get any more. That's it, you're at max. Percentage, however, is uncapped. You can get crazy with that. Now, Awakening Nova has fantastic early game, mid game, and late game potential. You're not going to get Awakening until you hit level 56 and do the quest line. You'll still have to suffer with pre-awakening until you hit 56 and go do the quest line. But until then, whenever you like swap to like Polly's Forest or Hex Sanctuary to grind levels, right? Once you have awakening, it's going to be a lot easier to grind those levels because you'll be able to grind much larger zones, much faster, like Orcs, Tungrad Ruins, City of the Dead, Jade Starlight, like where you have to travel kind of far to get to your next pact. She's really good at those spots because she just gets them in like a blink of an eye. So utilize her for those areas. Some of the cons for Awake Nova in PvE is, unlike Suck Nova, Awake Nova has no DR buffs, so besides some skill add-ons, she is considerably squishier. If you are not careful, you will get fucking obliterated. I think Blue Squadron said it best. You are a fart in the wind, dude. Like, you will get clapped so quick if you're not careful. Another big issue with her is she is significantly less protected. There's not a lot of mid-game or early-game spots where you have to worry about mobs CCing you. But come late game, like Ash Forest, Pig King Cave, Olins, spots like that where mobs can CC you, which leaves you potentially to being killed and losing crystals. Yeah, she does not nearly have the same amount of SA protection as Suck Nova, so you have to be very careful. Alright, I think that is pretty, I don't want to say simple, but it is a much, it's just an easy explanation for the class, and both her subclasses, right? And that's gonna wrap it up for PvE. Now we get to move on to PvP. So Suck Nova in PvP. My god, is this class hated. So her pros, she is arguably one of the most tedious classes in the PvP scene, simply because she has minions. These minions are very aggressive and will constantly stun people around you. Due to Suck Nova's insane base DR increases, you can run a mixture of evasion gear with her. I'm not saying run full evasion, but you can do a mix of like DR boots and evasion gloves, and then have either full EVA artifacts or like one EVA artifact and one DR artifact. And I'm talking about Decky artifacts, by the way. Her minions are legitimately would probably break her as a class because you can cast your minions to stun people from range. You can use Axiom to basically become a B-52 bomber and do a strafe run on a group of people, and if they aren't using protected skills, he will CC them. The big thing is Axiom. Axiom is a very strong component to Suck Nova. Whenever Suck Nova's health gets low enough, the little white orb you'll see, usually hovering around you whenever you're on Suck Nova, will turn red, and whenever it's red, any player that is within a certain vicinity of you, Axiom will immediately try to stun them. Nova has a ranged grab. It's got pretty scary range at times. You have a ice wall. We like just to call it the Reinhardt wall, but you can use this to block damage for your team's stick. If you don't know what a stick is, it is your base in T2 and uncapped Node Wars. Theoretically, it's in T1s, but I wouldn't really recommend running Suck Nova in T1s because it's capped. So is T2, but the issue is in T1s, you have significantly less DP, and all your bonus DP that you get from Q blocking, Queen's Gambit, skill add-on for the DP, none of that gives you anything. So it's really good at blocking damage in T2s and uncapped, especially if you're uncapped and you're a DR meme. You can just put your butt against the wall and block a crap ton of damage, and potentially save your team from basically dying. One of the biggest benefits, in my opinion, to Suck Nova is that she has an actual iframe ability. Wow. Crazy concept. Another thing I also love is Suck Nova is extremely pressure heavy against any class that does not have a grab. For every person out there who hates like Awagus or Awake Magus, yeah, they don't hurt you. They legitimately cannot do a single thing to Suck Nova. As I like to say, tell the Awagu to spin on it, because she ain't doing anything. Suck Nova also probably has one of the strongest, I would say top 3, maybe top 5. I would say arguably top 3, but one of the best 200% BSR skills. The size of the BSR skill can match mostly the same size as people's bases in T2 and uncapped. So if you're like outside of the base behind their barricades, right, you just pop your 200%, as long as you don't get hit by an FT or a flame turret. You basically cover the entire base, and anyone who's in there is just permanently stunned for about 5 seconds. She also has fantastic SA trading, mainly because all of her skills give her insane amounts of damage reduction whenever she's in SA. So that, and this class has virtually 0 stamina issues. I've never once had no stam while playing Suck Nova, unless I was sprinting around like a monkey. But yeah, you virtually have no stam issues. This class is very easy to pick up for PvE and PvP. Alright, moving on to cons. One of the biggest issues with Suck Nova. She is a victim to any class with grab. No, genuinely, like if you like fight a striker, you know, or a Zerker with 2 or 3 grabs, depending on whether he's Succession or Awakening, you're basically at the mercy of them, because you're probably not going to be able to get away without them yoinking you every 2 seconds. Another big issue with her is she is very slow to engage in fights, and she's also terrible at disengaging them, so you have to prioritize your positioning. Our hardest counter class is Succession Corsair. This is mainly because Suck Corsair deletes frontal guards, so she hits you with like 2 abilities and your entire frontal guard is just gone. As I was saying earlier, she has a severe lack of damage, so don't expect to, you know, 2-shot anyone like crazy. Another really sucky thing is, like, this is very primarily seen in like AOS, but if you get focused as a Suck Nova, in most cases, you're probably cooked. Alright. Now we move on to Awake Nova's PvP. My favorite one. So, did I mention this bitch is fast as fuck? Because you might as well give her Sonic shoes, because holy this woman's crazy. So, Awake Nova is the definition of a tactical nuke, but as durable as paper. You are retardedly strong, but you're also squishy as hell. Don't expect to dive 10 people and kill all of them and walk out with only missing half your HP bar. Especially nowadays, I wouldn't expect to dive even 2 people without at least losing 75% of my HP. You have to go in, drop all your skills as fast as possible, and then immediately leave the scene. Some other benefits to this is that she can drop basically her entire arsenal within like the span of a second. She has insanely good engage and disengage potential. She can also use her non-Excel abilities while she's in Excel, so you have 2 different forms of abilities that you can use. So when you're in Excel, you have a insane amount of movement speed. If you move around in different directions a lot and then do it faster, on people's POV of you, you will desync like crazy, especially in ball fights. So abuse desync with her. It is very easy to do and not very hard. It's one of the biggest ways that Novas can catch people. Another great thing about this class is she has very many different playstyles. I always play her as a glass cannon. You can play her a different way. And if it works, right? So she's a completely freestyle class. Combo style or combo related, positioning related, etc, etc, etc. Completely freestyle. Play her how you want. If you're a person who hates rangers or archers or casters, you're gonna fucking love this class because this class deletes them. You are the problem solver of rangers. That's why every single time I see like 3 rangers chilling by each other, it's a wet dream for me. I see that and I'm like, oh baby, dinner's ready. Another big thing with this class is she has 2 vacuums. If you time if you time the moment you're about to leave Excel, you can get up to 4 vacuums. So when you're in Excel, you throw 2 Excel vacuums out, and then as you're out of Excel, then you throw 2 more non-Excel vacuums. So then you have 4. Now here's some of the cons, and there's quite a few of them. Now, for me personally, I need Excel to fight. Not always, like if it's a 1v1 and I'm not fighting like a Sage, or I want to say really a Wusa, but like mainly like Sage, Striker, etc, etc, etc. I don't really need Excel, and I'll build it throughout the fight and I'll be fine. But like if I'm engaging like 10 plus people, right? Like in Node Wars, like if we're engaging a ball, brother, I'm not going in unless I got Excel. That's a death wish. Another big thing, a lot of people struggle with this, especially when they're new to the class, is Excel management. Love of God, please practice managing your Excel. You really got to practice it, because the moment you come out of Excel, you have the potentiality to have 80% Excel. Utilize and abuse enemy structures. Like if you see like an enemy turret somewhere, or like a random enemy wall, or like a flag that doesn't have anybody on it, just go over to it and hit it a couple of times. You'll instantly build up your Excel pretty fast, and then boom, you're back into the fight like nothing happened. This class is also an extremely high skill ceiling. A big issue with this class is she's very unprotected, and realistically, without Excel and Excel's E-buff, right? A lot of times you're gonna get caught just dashing around. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It sucks. Another big issue is your Excel E-buff is only a 10-second window versus most to all other classes having a 20 to 30-second SA window. So you have to make every second of that SA window count. Most of the time, I only use like 5 seconds of it in a fight, and then I just fuck off. But you basically almost have to pop it like right in front of people. Awakening Nova also has 0 iframes. I don't really consider the dash that we have, that also has a 3-second cooldown, by the way. I don't really consider that an iframe, considering it's only like 0.3 seconds of an iframe into an SA afterwards. So also, if you're gonna start playing Awake Nova, I'd highly suggest you get used to having floor POV, because you're gonna be on the ground a lot in the beginning. Awakening Nova cannot SA trade anymore. Like, you literally will lose every SA trade. You just can't do it. So, I would recommend not doing it. Another big issue is Excel burns your stam very quickly, so you need to also have stam management in mind as well. So most of the time you have to play Awake Nova as you kill them standing. You're like, most of the time you're not going to be playing looking for a CC. If you get the CC, amazing. But most of the time you're just going to have to damage them while they stand in SA, right? And yeah, like as I said before, this class takes a lot of time and dedication to master. Some people learn it faster than others. Some it'll take quite a while. For me, it was quite a while. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I'm pretty dumb. But, yeah, that's mainly it. I realistically hope this helps you guys, decide whether or not this class is for you. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Also, holy fuck, dude. I disappeared for like a month, and we got insane amounts of subscribers. We're almost up to 600. That's insane. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you to the Nova Discord for tating me, as always. Thank you. Love you guys. All right. Peace!
Now she pouring fruity pebbles in a cup.